Cricket development is the focus for Zimbabwe cricket, and the under-19 team is preparing for the 2018 Cricket World Cup. Former Zimbabwe fast bowler Ed Rainsford caught up with the team in Harare.
You've gone through a period of real development with a lot of young players. What do you attribute that to?
Well, it is the zeal to make sure that Zimbabwe has got a pyramid. It's important that our foundation, our base is strong. So my view and my portfolio is to make sure that we identify talented youth cricketers under 17 up to under 19 and groom these boys for the eventual success of our national team. So we try to catch them very young at 15, identify their potential, identify their talent, and start working with them so that at the end of 3-4 years, from 15 to 18, these guys are seasoned campaigners. So from the last World Cup, we were there 2, 3, 15-year-olds, Wesley Madevere, Milton Shumba, who are now the senior players in this team, and they have been fantastic. Their growth has been phenomenal. I mean, these boys are shaping up nicely, and we hope they continue to grow.
Forward thinking from Zimbabwe cricket has given the country's next generation an opportunity to compete against the best. The coach believes this initiative will help develop the playing group.
I think we must give kudos to the Zimbabwe Cricket Board for finally really putting their mind into development and putting resources into development. So this project is a serious project by Zimbabwe Cricket, is to make sure that the talented kids, irrespective of where they come from, are given an opportunity, are given international exposure. You don't buy experience from Spa, I always say, you know. And these kids need to be fed into the international arena at the earliest possible stage. Basically, what we're trying to do here is to make sure that we've got a talented pool which is grilled, groomed, and hardened.
How is the team right now? Are you guys really excited about getting to New Zealand? Are you looking to perform? Because you're playing so much cricket, that should give you a little bit more experience, but also a lot more exposure.
Yeah, so now the guys are they're now believing in themselves more than they were doing before we started this program. We played many games like I think we are the first under 19 side to play more games like this. So I think these guys are going to take advantage of this, and when we go to the World Cup, they'll make sure that they own the money.
What's it like playing against the holding champions right now of the Under-19 World Cup, the West Indies?
It doesn't happen more often to some other teams, so you have to take it as it comes and make sure that you make use of it.
In the history of Under-19 cricket, I think this is the most prepared Under-19 side ever, because leading before this you played in Namibia, South Africa.
Yeah, absolutely right. Sheesh, 2 years ago we had 3 months preparation. And now this last 2 years we've had a couple of tours. We've had 3 or 4 tours so far and another 2 coming up. So definitely a lot better preparations this time.
And also just looking at your squad, you went to the Under-19 World Cup in Bangladesh with 15-year-olds, and now those young players are now senior players. How do you feel about that, and how is the team dynamic right now?
Well, listen, the team dynamic is very good at the moment, but with the youngsters, with the two young 15-year-olds now becoming senior players, it's good. You know, they learnt from an early age, with obviously what we've been doing, the coaching, the way we've wanted to coach them, and now they're teaching the older boys in the side. So it is quite funny, but it's working at the moment.
Is there good camaraderie in the team, passion, a lot of excitement about traveling to New Zealand and maybe doing well?
Yeah, absolutely, Eddie. Of course there is. I mean, most of the young guys haven't ever actually travelled outside of Africa. So the tours coming up, it's going to be a big learning curve for them, and they're very excited.
Do you think Under-19 cricket, World Cups are the real grounding for young players that will give them that exposure to play international cricket?
Yeah, spot on, because I mean, you start off a little bit young, maybe with the under-16s and under-14s, but I think at the under-19 level is where you start to get really tested, because that's when you really start facing the real pace. That's when you really start facing the real good players. The real good players are starting to develop then. So I think, yeah, it's a very important platform for the cricketers as they grow up, that Under-19 World Cup. I think it's very important for anyone who aspires to play international cricket to sort of go through that as well.
Take me back to New Zealand. As an Under-19 cricketer, what can these young men expect?
Yeah, I mean, New Zealand was really good fun. It was just a little bit cold for us, but it was good fun. We played really well as a team. We played, and I think we ended up winning the plate. We met South Africa and a couple of other of the bigger teams as well in that plate. But I think just in terms of expectations, like I said, it's really good competition. You really start to face up against really good players. Like I said, the really good players are starting to develop, and you really start to face the real pace. So I think the guys can expect that. I've already seen one of the under-19 West Indian guys is bowling with a little bit of pace, and I think the guys can expect a lot more of that going into the World Cup.
This is a privilege. It's not a right. It's an honor to represent your country. It's an honor. The highest privilege you can have is to be an ambassador of your country. And these youngsters are fine young gentlemen who are representing Zimbabweans, and we are trying to teach them a holistic approach to life, right? It's not just being a sportsman, but it's being an ambassador, right? And that is the biggest message I send to the youngsters, that it's bigger than playing cricket only. It's bigger, it's huge. You are Zimbabwe. At that moment when you cross the rope, you are the Zimbabwean player. You are representing your people. So it's massive.